Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming into another video. All right, so I just had a laundry room experience. Put my laundry in the washer initially, no problem. Came back 30 minutes later and there was still a lot of water in the machine. So I thought maybe the same mistake I had made before may have happened, where I put too much in there and it clogged it, but that wasn't what it was. Nothing was tangled up. The machine actually died mid-wash. Now initially I looked at the other two machines and realized that there was no in-use lights on in regards to the machine, so I thought maybe there was a power issue, but the light above in the room itself was fine, so it couldn't have been a power issue. So what I ended up doing was I said, alright, let me go get the plastic bags that were given to me the last time I had this issue. Came back up here, grabbed them, and put all that stuff that I was going to otherwise dry in that room in those bags, and then take it around the corner. Once I realized it was a little too heavy to do that with, since it had all that water in it, I was like, let me make damn sure that the dryers aren't also a part of the problem. So I took my charger, put it in the same socket that the dryers were plugged up in, and sure enough, the dryer was, the charger worked, so it allowed me to understand it wasn't a power issue. So then, you know, I had let the lady know at the front desk what was going on. And then proceeded to use the water that had already been left in the machine from it not being finished, and just wring out each and every thing that I had. I had already put it in the bag and put that stuff into the dryer when I realized I wanted to dry everything in the room, once I realized it was possible. But then I was like, you know what, it's going to take 2 or 3 dries just to get this stuff dry, so let me just wring it out manually. So I wrung out each and every piece of clothing I could, with the exception of the jeans, which I just couldn't make nothing happen with that. Threw all that stuff in the dryer, closed the door, put the coins in the dryer, and it wouldn't take the coins. I guess for whatever reason the coin thingy was broken in the dryer I used, so I transferred all that stuff to the other dryer next to it and then put it on. So that's been my experience with that. Once again, they're gonna have to come in there and clean up the floor, because all that water did fall on the floor from the process of trying to take all of that out of the washer into the bag, the initial bag. But man, I'm telling you, this is one of them times where it's like you wish you had a vehicle, because the place that you want to wash at isn't far. It's like 2-3 blocks away, and I can carry it when the stuff isn't wet. It ain't that heavy, but when it is wet, man, that's a little too much to be lugging on one trip. I'd probably have to take 2 trips just to make all that happen. So I'm very glad that those machines, the dryers, were working, but the machines for the washers, you know, it was one of those things where it's like I could put this back in another washer and see if it can go through the entire process of wringing it out for me and finishing the cleaning. But what if I'm wrong? I put the change in there and then it doesn't turn on. That's not, I'm not taking that risk. I believe the light is supposed to remain on when the machines are working, but I could be wrong about that. They may only be lit up when it's in use. I never quite pay much attention, but I always think there's a light there when I walk in to see if the washers are available to me. But I might, you know, I might be wrong. So it's one of those situations where I didn't want to throw any money in there to be on the risky side. But I did smell a odor that reminded me of burnt wiring, so I'm thinking it was just the washer that I used that ultimately died, and there was no other power issue whatsoever, because the smell was most definitely coming from the washer. So by the time I walked out of there, I was pretty certain it was only that particular washing machine that was broken. But just in case, I told the people that were getting ready to wash their clothes to be careful, because it may be something wrong with all 3 machines, or it may have a power issue, but I doubt it at this point. I just think it was the one on the far end that I used. So yeah, man, that was a bit of a task. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm complaining. I pride myself these days, particularly since being in this room, and not really complaining about stuff when it goes wrong, but just to handle it. That's kind of been my attitude. So I handled it the same way. I didn't even really feel myself getting that upset, to be honest with you. Just trying to find, you know, what the solution would be, and trying to be as smart as I could. in regards to how I should handle myself. But I did throw away those big bags, man. They probably will come in handy, but they had gotten so wet after I threw that wet clothes in there that I didn't think they were salvageable. But those bags proved to be handy. That's why I held on to them from the last problem I had with that situation, because I was thinking it was something like this could happen again. Hey, you're gonna be glad you kept those big bags that the maintenance lady ultimately gave me to handle it then. And so, sure enough, it came back around. It sure did. But ultimately, those bags weren't really used for much of anything. That was an unnecessary transfer, based on the idea that I was going to end up wringing them out and drying in there anyway. But I didn't know that at the time. But you know, luckily enough, my charger worked on that socket, so it allowed me to know that the dryer would at least work for myself. So yeah, man, I'm likely going to have to dry those things twice. That's really what it comes down to. I wrung it out to the best of my ability, but it's still going to be rather wet in an hour. So I'm prepared to probably use that dryer twice, and I hope people will be patient with me as I have to, because that stuff ain't gonna get dry. I already know that. So yeah, man, this is you know, it's one of the things where it's just like, all right, I was eating breakfast, and midway through the breakfast process, I just figured I was gonna go down there, put everything in the dryer, and come back up here and finish breakfast. But that actually took almost an hour to that whole process. So yeah, man, I'm thankful I ain't gotta go to an off site to handle my drying situation. You know, I just take the wins where they come. So that's pretty much the update, man. That's how my morning's gone. Woke up this morning with a little bit of energy, not a whole lot of it, but I did my routine that I always do. And yeah, man, just enjoying my Saturday. Aside from that stuff, I was preparing to get out, but given the fact that my laundry probably ain't gonna get done till like 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I'm already feeling exhausted, I don't see myself doing anything but probably walking down to Target locally to get some stuff there, if I do anything at all today. I just feel like going to sleep as usual. Been feeling drained a lot lately, which tells me what I'm eating probably can't be what I keep going in regards to. So this turkey's a one and done thing, even though it digests well. It saps up all my energy, I believe, eating this way. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it. As I told you guys yesterday, that I was putting up a playlist. I did art on it. I really like the art that I did on Delete CD $3.99. I hope everybody else does as well. Check me out on Apple Music, my latest R&B playlist. And that's really it, man. That's really it. I've been listening to content on the trade that took place between the Knicks and the Minnesota Timberwolves, for which I left a video up here for you guys last night. Very, very ironic that I had been talking about Karl Anthony Towns and the Timberwolves a lot in the video that I made just about 6 hours before the trade even happened, without knowing anything, without even having a notion that something was coming. So that was really cool how that all played out. But that's pretty much it, man. I'm pretty exhausted, but still in good spirits. Gonna finish the rest of my breakfast and prepare to put more money in that machine, because that's exactly what it's gonna be. So BDL44, I thank you all for watching.